Well, another day, another recovery. The vehicle came in and I've put the half shaft back in and driven it into the workshop, even though this vehicle broke down and cut out on the side of the road. After 20 minutes of it running in the workshop, it's thrown these faults on the dip and cut out. After we get plugged in with Davey, we can dive deeper into these faults and I can explain where we're going with this. Even though we're presented with pages, and I mean pages of faults, we need to take note of one particular fault in multiple ECUs, which is CAN timeout from engine management system. So while the apprentice struggles with the simple things in life like tipping the cab, I'll run through what we're about to do next. Rather than pull up all the technical diagrams on the PCI ECU to test for powers and grounds, cam resistance, etc., I'm going to show you a quick 5-minute test you can start with to save time. I've allowed this vehicle to cool down so I can simulate this fault again for you, but I won't be running the vehicle this time. So today, ladies and gentlemen, my weapon of choice is no multimeter, it's a hot air gun. What this will allow us to do is identify it's the PCI ECU that's at fault and not the wiring or a relay fault. As you can hear, the ECU is now faulted and the crankcase ventilation unit is started up. This vehicle will no longer start on the key and will give pages of faults related to CAN communication. How do you diagnose ECUs that have failed? Let me know in the comments, please. We'll now remove the PCI ECU and explain a bit more on repairing the microprocessor. And this is not a process for the faint-hearted. Removing these screws is the easy part. Applying adhesive remover and separating the casing from the ECU is a long process. Once you have the case finally separated, I can show you the microprocessor that lifts under heat, causing an open circuit here. Before we go any further, could I please ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, as it not only tells me it's a good video, but it also tells YouTube that it's a good video and more people should watch it. In order to repair this microprocessor, it needs to be removed from the printed circuit board. This is done by slowly increasing the heat of the microprocessor to around 300 degrees, and it then can be extracted from the board and refitted correctly under controlled conditions. In my case, this unit will be replaced under warranty, so it's getting replaced with a more robust, superseded unit direct next day from the factory. Once I'd refitted the ECU back onto the vehicle, we need to download and install the latest software to the PCI ECU. Once this has been applied successfully, we can move on to the next process, which is injector trim codes. Using a Davey, we can reclaim the injector codes from the vehicle configuration manager. Once these have been applied, we can then calibrate the oil level sensor. I'm adjusting the oil level here for it to be calibrated correctly, as the oil level needs to be on maximum. It would seem that the driver could do with looking at his oil level a bit more here. 5 litres later and the oil's on maximum, and we can move on to warming the engine up. For the ECU to take a reading, the sensor needs to see 70 degrees centigrade. Once the correct temperature has been reached, we have to leave the vehicle for 90 minutes to cool down, and then we can perform the calibration. This oil level calibration takes 4 ignition cycles, and it takes a measurement after each key off cycle. It could take about 5 minutes to perform, provided you allow enough time for the engine to cool down, or it will fail this process. This vehicle can now have its non-active DTCs cleared on Davey and be returned to the customer. If you've enjoyed this ECU diagnostic video, why not check out my EBS ECU diagnostic video here? And thanks for watching. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats in the rain. You don't understand the pain.